In today's video, we're going to talk about the fifth essential element of comprehensive candidate screening, the interview. The interview is an essential step in the overall screening process, and its purpose is to generate valuable candidate information, which allows individuals to be evaluated or viewed from different angles. However, the interview process has changed over the last year, and now with organizations focused on children and youth, they're being asked to do more with less time and resources. So how do organizations pivot with this new reality of the interview process? Well, today I'm going to share with you 5 ways your organization can adapt to this new process, to the new interview process. And hopefully you'll continue to hire well-qualified candidates for both staff and volunteer positions. First, you're going to want to shift to a virtual process. Now today, most candidates will expect for the initial evaluation to be remote, online, or virtual. However, what they're finding is more and more of the interview process is remote, start to finish. The good news is when you move to a virtual process, it provides more flexibility for both candidates as well as interviewers. But for this particular piece, you want to make sure that you prep for each interview as you would prep for a face-to-face. That means checking all of your equipment, whether you have remote meeting software, a laptop, mic, camera, all these things, you want to make sure that they work together. And also I'd like to highlight to check your background image. You want to make sure that it's not cluttered behind you, distracting, or even inappropriate. Number 2, you're going to want to set aside additional time for each candidate. Now, the virtual process for each organization is different, but what we find is that there's usually more meetings that a candidate will have to go through. And this is just a way of getting to know the candidate better, being able to ask deeper questions when a face-to-face isn't possible. Also, if your candidate is meeting with several people, you may want to ask them to put together a short presentation. This will help them to demonstrate what they can contribute to your organization. They can also share what kind of an impact they'll make on the team and highlight their work history with kids and youth. So that's also a great way to get to know the candidate a little bit better, but definitely set aside more time. Number 3, you're going to want to focus on collaboration and transparency. You know, with the new changes to the interview process, there are a couple of talents or skills that have popped up to the top of the list for those who are leading teams. The first one is collaboration, the second is communication, and the third is the ability to work remotely when necessary. As a decision maker for the position, an interview will help you to determine how well a candidate integrates to this whole remote process or environment. You'll be able to see did they stay engaged on the call? Do they have other tools and techniques they've used in other positions to share and communicate with others on teams? Are they self-starters? Do they have strong communication skills? Are they able to integrate easily into a virtual team? All of these questions are a great way to see if the candidate is a good fit for your organization, especially if the position requires some remote attendance or work. Number 4, expect disruptions and prepare to adapt. You know, hiring people, whether it's for staff or volunteer positions, is relatively new for most organizations. This means everybody is working to ensure that the process goes as smoothly as possible. And there's no harm in letting candidates know if this is a new process for you personally, your organization, or your program. I believe candidates really appreciate that insight into the process. Number 5, you want to plan for a safe final on-site interview. As organizations begin to reopen, and due to the sensitive nature of hiring individuals to work directly with kids and youth, it's always best to do that final evaluation in person on-site if at all possible. But what this means is that you want to make sure and let the candidate know of your protocols and your guidelines for things such as masks, physical and social distancing, meeting spaces. They need to have as much information up front so that they can also be prepared. It's also good to have hand washing stations, sanitizer available, and you can hold meetings outdoors if at all possible. That's always a good one. In addition to that, you want to make sure that candidates, if they're not feeling well, they know they can reschedule the discussions. And especially if someone on your team isn't feeling well, you don't want to expose anyone to anything. So it's best for everyone to know that if they're not feeling 100%, that they are welcome to reschedule that discussion or interview. If you want more detail about the virtual interview, I encourage you to visit kidcheck.com/blog. You can search under interview, and we have a couple of posts out there that are just full of more detail. And so I encourage you to really take a look at that. So that's all I have today. Thanks for being interested in this process. I believe that by evaluating candidates to the best of your ability, this helps families to see that you've done your due diligence and that you truly are committed to improving safety and reducing risk for everyone all around. So take care, and I look forward to seeing you next time.